Hello everyone, we are the Boston Voter app and we are here to simplify voting. So I'll just quickly go over my agenda. First we will go over who are we. Then we will talk a little bit about what app does and the ethical considerations around it. Last but not the least, we will also go over a quick walkthrough of our website. Who are we? A quick shout out to Anna, our PM, who is a computer science and business major at Boston University.
I'm Eleanor Elkis. I study computer science and math at Tufts University.
Hello, and I'm Arshnur. I'm also one of the software developers on the team. I'm a computer science major at UMass Amherst.
My name is Jason. I'm also one of the developers on the team. I'm a CS major from Boston University.
These past 6 weeks, we have been working with Yao Miller, who is a journalist and senior former editor of Bay State Banner, which is the oldest news agency focusing on African American community. Motivated to create a change and also to educate people about voting rights, Yao decided to embark a new establishment called Greater Boston News Bureau, which aims to cover local gaps between communities and cover topics and remove misinformation for people of color. And handles for people who feel that they have been misguided by news sources out there regarding voting rights. As we can see, it's a persistent issue, and this has been a major issue in Boston for the last couple of years. And also, voting misinformation is a major issue. Voters have been multiple times being scammed by various resources out there, by various news agencies, and also due to the decentralized voter system, which is where our app comes in. We aim to assure that we can cover this gap between the communities and provide information.
As many of you know, voting is a very important mechanism for expressing personal values and having those values reflected in the community and legislature. However, as Arshnur mentioned, there are many barriers preventing this process from being easily accessible to many people. And yet, technology can be used to address many of these barriers, which is where public interest tech comes in. Because although there are many existing resources that include election information, they tend to either be very selective or overabundant in the amount of information that they provide. So there's no middle ground in resources for election processes. And this is why we believe that the Boston Voter app is so important, because it provides that middle ground, because it provides a simple, easy to navigate website that includes all vital election information in one place. And it has the eventual goal of working towards creating an equitable and inclusive voting system. Which brings us to what the Boston Voter app is. So it's a progressive designed to address the critical need for accessible, comprehensive information about voting logistics in Boston. And it hopes to centralize details, making it easier for voters to stay reliably informed and engaged. And there are many reasons why such an app is so important beyond just the importance of voting. For one, BIPOC communities tend to face unique barriers to voting, both historically and today. This creates a higher importance to create tailored resources and tools to help overcome such barriers. And in doing so, we hope to educate voters, increase turnout, and strengthen the democratic process in Boston's local elections. And there were 4 main ethical topics we considered in the production of this website. Firstly, we hope to create an inclusive and accessible website by following standards like the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. For example, we used large color contrast and palette that would accommodate people with color blindness. And we focused on making the most important information in a bold red font to accommodate those with visual impairments. Secondly, we hope to create a website that was accurate, fact-checked, and unbiased. And in doing so, we also created a website that was transparent by clearly indicating where information is sourced from and including any affiliations or biases those sources might have. And lastly, we hope to create a website that was sustainable and could be easily maintained. And this has been a part of our plan from the beginning to ensure that it remained useful and relevant. And part of this included implementing a user-friendly, non-technical way for our client to keep information up to date as elections come and go. And lastly, we would like to mention that our target audience for this website is those that have access to the internet and the ability to read and understand English. Therefore, in the future, we hope to increase the amount of information that we produce in more visible ways, like pamphlets, as well as creating a fully translated version to increase the audience.
As mentioned before, one of the key challenges in regards to voting in Boston is low voter turnout and lack of reliable resources when it comes to voting in Boston. Therefore, the Boston Voter App introduces a few features that allow us to tackle this problem. Our first feature is a feature that displays the upcoming elections for the elections in Boston, including their registration deadlines. After that, we will also introduce polling locations, which allows the user to see the nearest polling locations near them. The users will also have the ability to see the registration status given their address, and they will have a comprehensive guide on the different voting options and direct links to the forms for that specific voting options, including like absentee ballots. Next, we have ballot information, which allows the user to select a specific election and input their addresses to see the different candidates running for that specific election. Lastly, we have Dropbox location feature, which displays a map of all Dropbox locations in Boston and allows the user to see the nearest Dropbox locations given the specific address that the user needs. Now we are going to give a brief walkthrough of our app. During this video, we are going to demonstrate 3 key features for our app, including the upcoming election features, the ballot info features, and the Dropbox location features. Sorry about that. So here is a brief walkthrough of it. The first feature is the upcoming elections, which allows the user to see upcoming elections and the registration deadlines and dates are highlighted in red. The next feature is the ballot info feature, allowing the user to input their specific address and select whichever elections that is currently happening. So in this case, the user selects state election, and after having these crucial information, displays the different candidates in regarding to the election. So we have representatives in Congress and senators in Congress. Now, if you click on Elizabeth Warren, for example, you're given a more in-depth page of the specific candidate, including links to their campaign sites and also questions curated by Yahoo for Elizabeth for this person. Lastly, we have the Dropbox location map, which displays all Dropbox locations in Boston. Now, the user will have the ability to zoom in and out of locations, and if you click on either one of the pins, you will see information for the different Dropbox, including the addresses and the times of operation. Now, if you input a specific address, you're guided to that address, and we can see the nearest Dropbox locations given the address. So in this example, you can see that we have 2 Dropbox locations that are close to this address. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions or want to see a video demo or a demo of the website, you can see us later at 5 o'clock at our designated station right there.